prediction, crash, and also possibly a shutdown of the stock market on March 13th, 2026. The date that this video is posted proves that this prediction is being made ahead of time, as does this time-stamped email and forensic notes PDF document. If you are skeptical for some reason, please email me and I will forward these to you. This email, or also this video, is documenting the prediction that the US stock market will crash on Friday, March 13th, 2026. Specifically this date. It'll be a black swan financial event, which is an unexpected, shocking event. It is predicted that also this will be the initial shocking event, the initial shock to what will become the biggest stock market crash in history. It is also predicted, or also I should say speculated, it's not necessary for this prediction, but it's also speculated that on March 13th, trading will be temporarily halted. The loss in the S&P 500 stock index on March 13th is speculated to be large enough to trigger a circuit breaker that temporarily shuts down trading. Trading is halted when the S&P 500 index loses 7%, 13%, and 20% in one trading day. In other words, the S&P 500 index is speculated to lose on this March 13th date 7% or possibly 13% or 20%. And again, the post date of this video and this email and forensic notes PDF document is documenting that this prediction is being made ahead of time. This knowledge of this prediction for March 13th, 2026 has been known since early or late February. Late February. Well, the date here is March 7th in this email, but this was known a week or two even before this. It is predicted that on March 13th, 2026, there will be a black swan event in the stock market. One of the best examples in the history of a black swan event in the stock market was Black Monday in October of 1987, when the Dow index lost a record 23% in one day. God pairs 9, 23, and 44 together to confirm his signs, patterns, and connections. This is because the 44th president, who was inaugurated in 2009, wore jersey number 23 in high school basketball. Okay, again, these are the building blocks of God's signs. These are the building blocks of God's big picture of signs, patterns, and connections. His true big picture of signs, patterns, and connections, which is only being explained on this channel, which works on the principle of second and third and multiple witnesses confirming a matter, as the Bible says is required. And this is what makes what is being explained on this channel true and not a product of one's imagination and different and unique than everything else on the internet that claims to be an analysis of God's prophetic signs. And if we think about it, one simple way in which God would provide a second witness for us is through pairing certain numbers together, such as 9, 23, and 44. And I know these are the numbers because I have been studying his big picture of signs, patterns, and connections from morning till night for more than full-time hours for more than 8 years. That said, I recognized that these are the building blocks. The pairing of 9, 23, and 44 is the building blocks of God's signs 6, 7 years ago, near the beginning of all of this. So, okay, so what we have here is, I'm getting this out of the way here. What we have so far here is the Dow losing 23% in one day, which was a record, and God uses records for signs. Okay, this was a record 23% loss in one day. This is still to date the largest percentage of loss in one day, and will always be the case because now they have the circuit breaker where if the Dow loses 20%, the market closes. Oh, I take that back. It could theoretically surpass 23% because the circuit breaker doesn't get triggered if the 20% level of loss is reached within the last half hour or so of the trading day. Okay. Now, the predicted crash on the date 313, which hints at 23, because 3 divided by 13 is 0.230, will be 440.00%. In other words, this is an exact number, and it gives us 44. Of a calendar year after the crash of an MD-87 plane owned by a company named 987 Investments LLC on the anniversary of the Black Monday crash in 1987. And if you didn't get that, the MD McDonnell Douglas 87 model plane owned by 987 Investments hints at the year 1987. The chartered plane that crashed had 6 plus 6 plus 6 people on board, and which hints at 666, and it crashed in the fourth biggest city in the US when it was on its way to a Major League Baseball playoff game number 4 that was in the 2 times third state, which hints at 23. The fourth biggest city, and game 4 hints at 44. And the 23rd, 2 times third state hints at 23, a pairing of 23 and 44. Which, as I just said, also connects with 440% to the date that hints at 23. And a predicted crash, which is why the connection from this plane crash. The plane crash was in Harris County, and the predicted plane crash that will make Obama the president again will involve the death of Kamala Harris. But that's another subject. This crash of the MD-87, owned by 987 Investments LLC, occurred on the 34th anniversary of the Black Monday crash in 1987, 1987. At the time of the plane crashes on 9/11, the Dow was closed at 9,605.51 points, a 0.34 point difference from the prior close at 9,605.85 points. $9,605, incidentally, hints at 9 and 6 plus 5 and 11, which hints at 9/11. And that was the number that the Dow was frozen at throughout the day of 9/11. Anyway, that day, which was the closing from the prior day, from the Monday, when it was closed at 9,650.51, that Monday close was 0.34 points difference from the close on the prior Friday, which gives us the number 34. 34 is relevant to 9/11 because it's 2 times 17, and 2 planes struck the towers 17 minutes apart. Well, this crash of the plane that pointed to the crash in 1987, clearly, was on the 34th anniversary of the 1987 crash. I mean, that's amazing. How could anyone not see this? How could even a secular person not have noticed this? A materialist, no, of course not. They wouldn't be looking at it, but it's so clear, right? When you just look at it, MD-87, 987 Investments LLC, on the anniversary of the 1987 crash, well, obviously, it was a crash sign, right? Now, the thing is, the 34th anniversary, this crash on the 34th anniversary of the 1987 crash, 34 because it is the ninth Fibonacci number. Fibonacci numbers aren't just a mathematical trivial thing. They are found, the Fibonacci sequence is found throughout the natural world. It's a creation sequence of numbers. And the number 9 is the most important number, as from the Bible it symbolizes God's judgment. So, now, which is why the ninth Fibonacci number of years. After the 87 crash, we get the crash involving the 987 Investments LLC MD87 plane. Now, that game 4 on the ninth Fibonacci number of years anniversary of Black Monday was known for the fourth prime number of runs the team from the fourth biggest city scored in the ninth inning, when the game was tied at 2-2. 2 plus 2 equals 4. This famous ninth inning on the ninth Fibonacci anniversary of the 23% stock market loss, when the team from the fourth biggest city scored the fourth prime number of runs in the 2 times third state, pairs the numbers 9, 23, and 44, and this confirms the signs and connections. And again, it's 444% of a year to the crash, predicted crash on 3/13, which gives us the number 23. So you see over and over again here, this pattern of 9, 23, and 44, right? The ninth Fibonacci anniversary, the game was known for the ninth inning, but it was the team from the fourth biggest city, and they scored the fourth prime number of runs, which incidentally is 7 runs. And it was game 4, right? So that's 9 and 44 there, but it was in the 2 times third state. And the connection is to the date 3/13 with 440% of a year. All right.